This after the premiere of the documentary A Brother's Keeper on Friday. The aim of the gala dinner is to call for unity on the continent at the time where pockets of acts of xenophobia are raising its ugly head. We are joined again by our reporter Hasina Gori, who is at the gala dinner at the Convention Center. Hasina, thank you so much again for joining us. We understand that you have more ambassadors to speak to with regards to Rise Up Naija.
Good evening. Yes, right now we have someone a bit different, someone who is both a member of the Nigerian Congress as well as an actor within the arts sector, and we're going to speak to him on how both those roles can help assist in changing the narrative of xenophobia. Thank you so much for speaking to us, Desmond Elliot. And what I want to start with is, earlier this year, we saw again sporadic acts of xenophobia taking place here in South Africa. You were out in Nigeria at that time. What was that feeling that was going through your mind at that moment, hearing about these attacks back home?
Well, thank you very much. Firstly, it was a very sad feeling. This wasn't the first time it was happening, so it had happened before. And the first thing that came to my mind was, not again. Not again. Previous times, social media work wasn't so bad, wasn't as loud as it happened this time around, because everyone has a phone and has access to social media, and it was just a barrage of activities going on. For some reason, I felt it was a bit exaggerated, but that notwithstanding was just as bad. This is not what we want for Africa. It's not what we want in our individual countries. So we personally felt very bad, especially from the Lagos Parliament. We spoke about it under the Speaker's, authorization as well, and it was we had the conversation, and it was pretty sad, pretty sad.
We then saw counterattacks happening in Nigeria as well as the Lagos Parliament. And what was the reaction then to those violence that we saw break out?
Oh, we vehemently condemned it. We felt it wasn't right. Two wrongs can never make a right. And I was glad that the government took action, arrested those culprits, those who vandalized. At the end of the day, it could have been South African businesses, but they employed Nigerians, and beyond that, we are one. So you cannot correct a mistake by you also doing the mistake. So I was glad that we brought it under serious control as quickly as we could, and every business, South African business, is up again.
Outside of your diplomatic hat and your political seat, you're also in the arts field, and as an actor, what role does the arts have in changing and helping shift the perceptions as well as the narrative around xenophobia, and to kind of create that cohesion as well as the unity that both the governments as well as the rest of Africa is trying to create?
There's no question about the impact that the creative arts or the entertainment industry can do to this kind of issues. Look at this practical situation. We have a cordial relationship between Nigeria and South Africa from the government point of view, cordial relationship economic-wise, business going good, but there's a problem somewhere. There's a lacuna. So the question is, what's happening? This is where we can come into play. This is where entertainment, this is where the arts come into play. This is what part of what I was talking about today. We need to encourage the arts. We need to encourage festivals. We need to understand our cultures. Nigeria is a country of many tribes, many cultures. We have different kinds of people. The beauty of having different kinds of people or types and norms and values is the fact that in our complexity, we are unique. And it's the unique symbol that we all need to pick out, that this is what makes us unique, and that's the arts. That's how we can demonstrate, we can illustrate, enumerate, and show to the people that, listen, my culture might be different from yours, what I value might be different from what you value, but let's talk about it. Let's dramatize it, let's show it, let's sing it, let's talk it. And that's the beauty. So you can never overemphasize the impact that the creative arts can do into cementing a more cordial relationship. It could just be some interpretation misunderstood and someone takes offense. But then when oh, this is how the Nigerian talks, oh, that's how the South African behaves, when it says you must sit down, it doesn't mean you must sit down, it means can you sit down? So we must understand ourselves. So it's that lack of understanding that the government cannot fix, that economic activities cannot fix, that we need to work on. So I'm going to encourage the Nigerian High Commission for what they've done, but I'm hoping next year we do more of a festival where we can encourage South African culture and Nigerian culture. Then the other year we can now make it African, where we can do different countries: Botswana, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Congo, Nigeria, and we begin to bring up all the cultures and we begin to understand ourselves. And we're not here to take jobs, we're here to just feel at home. Then also bring our Nigerian women here so that the South African men can also get married to them. Because, oh, come on, we're always marrying the South African women. So why don't you, for a change, come and marry us, our Nigerian women?
Yes. As you heard from Desmond Elliot, who's a member of Congress as well as an actor, saying that while government has played its part and economics has played its part in helping create synergy between the two countries, Nigeria and South Africa, maybe it's time for the arts and the culture to play their part now, where we can shift perceptions as well as educate people on both the similarities between the two cultures as well as the differences, and that we can understand each other better, so that maybe that can help eradicate the xenophobic violence that we see spurring up sporadically across the country over time. We're back to the gala dinner, but for now, back to you in studio.
And that is our reporter Hasina Gori joining us live there as she was having discussions with a Nigerian congressman and an actor who had a lot to say about Nigeria and South Africa. And so we leave it for now. We'll be back with more news at the